Hello, good morning. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I am Justin Nimergood, the host of the Real Estate Rockstars podcast. I'm so excited to have such a wonderful guest on with us here today, Mr. Al Kushner. Just a little bit about Al before we get into our show today. Today's guest is a master at turning LinkedIn into a lead generating machine. Al Kushner is the creator of Link Vantage program, which has helped over 400 professionals transform their LinkedIn profiles into predictable revenue streams, often generating 50K to 250K in new business. With more than 20 years of experience in marketing and relationship building, Al has been featured on ABC, Fox, NBC, CBS News, and in top business publications. His approach focuses on building meaningful connections that lead to real results. No spam, no wasted time, just a proven system that works. Al, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Justin. Pleasure to be here.
Great to have you, Al. So I know that was kind of a mouthful, and obviously reading someone's bio is a little different than maybe their own, their own view of things. So, in your own words, Al, who is Al Kushner?
Well, I'm an award-winning author. I've been on LinkedIn for over 2 decades. My latest book is called The AI LinkedIn Advantage, and it helps people, develop a strategy on LinkedIn so they don't come across as being spammy and develop leads that more than they can handle. So, yeah, happy to share my insights.
That's great. Now, we were talking before the show just a little bit about how valuable of a tool LinkedIn is. And I don't know if people out there, especially I have to call them out, the realtors, understand how valuable LinkedIn could be as a lead generating machine for them. Could you just maybe share a little bit of what you found in your own self research, and obviously just being in the space for 2 decades, like you said, you've seen it grow up and mature as a social platform. What could you share for our audience out there? We have a variety of obviously different real estate professionals. What can you share about LinkedIn, and why they should be using it, and why they should be using it in big doses like right now?
Very simple, because if they're not doing it, their competition is. And the
Ooh,
competition is hoping and praying that you don't get on board with LinkedIn. But for those who do, they benefit greatly from the opportunity to network and create a platform whereby they can become a thought leader and get business that, almost like a referral business, because people know you and trust you. And that's really what LinkedIn is all about, building trust.
building trust. I love it. And obviously, LinkedIn is set up quite, even though we consider it a social platform, it's set up much differently than Instagram or Facebook or some of the even TikTok, all these other platforms that are out there, which are truly, I would say, much more social than professional. I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong here, but LinkedIn's more professional than it's social, but you do have a bit of a bleed over. And that bleed over, I think, comes through in some of the algorithms. Like I follow Gary Vee, for example, and he's a big proponent of LinkedIn and the algorithm that they have. Could you share anything about that particularly, or just why a post on LinkedIn, for example, is going to generate much more, I'll call them quality eyeballs than the same post on maybe an Instagram or Facebook, just depending.
Well, I would say that LinkedIn is kind of acting like Facebook was in 2012, and it basically was, boosting up certain posts. It could be video posts, carousels, and that's really a great opportunity where you can get a lot of eyeballs, a lot of attention without costing you any money to do it. Unlike the other platforms where it's usually pay to play. So here's a great opportunity to take advantage of LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Now, you obviously, we would kindly say you're an expert authority in the matter, and I understand you've written a book as well. Could you share a little bit about the book? What's the title, and give our listeners and our subscribers out there some insight into the book and why this is a must read.
Well, it's called the AI LinkedIn Advantage, and I created the book in a way to help people develop a LinkedIn strategy that could help them become, more active on the platform, where they could save time, particularly with AI technology. It makes it a lot easier to utilize the platform. For example, when you want to create content and give you ideas for content, or ideas for your creating a script, which is very popular, videos. So
Hmm.
these are ways to use it that with AI technology, it really makes it almost a game changer. And saving time is also establishing yourself as the thought leader. So the book really delves into that, how to optimize your profile, how to work on outreach. These are just strategies that people take for granted. And that's really something that if they use it correctly, they'll find they could get more business they can handle. I mean, that's really what the bottom line is.
Yeah, I mean the SEO and keywords and whatnot that's involved in your profile and how people can find you. I certainly am probably not implementing even a fraction of what you talk about in the book, but I do know I've implemented some of it respective to my profile. It probably needs a revamp, to be honest. It's a little out of date, but I revamped it. Funny enough, over 2 decades ago when I was still sort of in more so in the corporate space, and I just knew it was time to just kind of brush up on my LinkedIn profile. And I worked with an executive advisor that kind of did this sort of thing, probably like you do with your clients at the time. And she was able to rewrite a pretty, what I realized, bad profile. And it's amazing once you do that, you no longer have to go hunt for connections anymore. People are coming to you in drones. And I think even to today, I have at least 1 to 2 to 3 connections a day reaching out. So I don't know if you can maybe just share, like, why does someone need to revamp their profile if they want to be a thought leader? I mean, there are two different trains of thought, right? What is your thought on or knowledge base on the revamping of the profile, and how often should people revamp their profile? Is it every year? Is it every couple years? Could you give us some insight into that?
Well, I mean, if you're actively job seeking and such, those individuals would have to update their profile as soon as they change jobs. I mean, a lot of times they don't even look at the profile for years, and when somebody decides to check them out, they've looked at the profile and they see that sometimes the job is not related to the current work that they're seeking. I mean, a lot of the job applicants who apply, they don't realize that the employers are looking at the LinkedIn profile. And if it's structured in a way that really looks unprofessional, that's going to be something to be judged by. You can have a great resume, but what's the point if your LinkedIn profile basically sucks? I mean,
Right.
you really have to look at it. So that's one example right there. If you now, usually people who are steady in the current type of work, I mean, they should update the profile, I would say, every quarter because, maybe things have changed. Maybe they got a promotion. Maybe they got an award. Maybe they've done some volunteer work. These are all great ways to connect, or at least showcase your profile as being trustworthy. If you're active on LinkedIn, ideally would be great. At least once a week, post something, to make sure you're current. I mean, people want to see that. So these are just right off the top that come to mind.
Well, I'm curious, just to follow on to that, right? And I agree with you. Every quarter, or if you're changing jobs, obviously that's intuitive. That makes sense. I think most people get that. But I think what a lot of people probably don't realize is that sort of revamping, or totally like tearing down your profile down to the studs, right? And for lack of a better, real estate term, down to the studs, and you're going to build it back up into something much bigger and better that's going to drive traffic, drive people to your profile. you know when should people do that? you know should that be like a one and done thing, or that in particular? Because I know for me that was transformative to my LinkedIn profile building, ability, if you will.
Well, how long ago have you built or rebuilt it at that time? A couple of years ago? 10 years
uh,
ago?
More than that, yeah.
Okay. Well, times have changed, and maybe it's time to get a relook at that again because a lot of things have changed over 10 years on LinkedIn, particularly how the algorithm looks at it. Because LinkedIn is a search engine. If you want to be
Mhm.
found on LinkedIn, you got to look at the keywords that are in your title, as well as in your profile that are going to help you get found. So if you're looking for clients,
Mhm.
you want to make sure that you have certain keywords and certain information that could help them decide whether they want to connect with you or not. So that's something I always tell people right off the bat. If you haven't done it in many years, time to get an update immediately.
Nice. Nice. Now we're gonna kind of switch gears for a second, and I know not your particular background, but let's dig into real estate specifically as a industry for a moment. You know, obviously there's lots going on in this industry. What do you see as the greatest opportunity right now? Actually, let's ask two-part question. Greatest opportunity and greatest threat for real estate agents, respective to social right now. And obviously, you have the advances of AI and what that's doing, or maybe not doing for people and making them lazy in some ways. But what do you see as sort of the greatest opportunity and threat for realtors right now, as it respective to, we'll say, LinkedIn in particular?
Greatest opportunity is with the AI technology nowadays. You have an incredible way to reach people and connect and build trust and thought leadership by using a lot of the great AI technologies that are available, which are really incredible. It was not even available years ago. 10 years ago, it didn't exist. For example, now
Mhm.
it not only exists, it's very competitive, and those agents who are taking advantage of it, they are reaping the rewards. And back to your question about people who are concerned about it.
Mhm.
Well, the fact is, if you're concerned about AI and trying to avoid it, well, you're going to be out of business real soon because your competition is taking advantage of it. So you really need to get on the bandwagon.
Yeah. I remember finally digging into Chat GPT and realizing how powerful of a tool that is. And I think people mistake. I had an agent actually. I have about 50 agents on my team right now. And I had an agent once tell me, well, isn't that cheating by leveraging Chat GPT? And I said, no, it's just being smart and working smarter, not harder, right? Like if a tool is available to you, use it by all means, right? So I think there is a little bit of this curve respective to AI mental hurdle that people have to get over. But as soon as they get over it and they actually start using it, they can realize very quickly how um, robust the technology is and how, again, transformative it can be to their business. So I couldn't agree with you more on that point, Al. All right, we're going to switch gears one more time here, Al. This is sort of the last segment of our show. I'm going to ask you some really fun curveball questions that
Mhm.
are going to make you think. Just honestly, there's no right or wrong answer with these, by the way. It's just whatever you think, whatever you feel in the moment, share that. So the first one is this. Let's say it's your 80th birthday. Who is there? What's going on? Paint a picture for us of what's going on with your 80th birthday.
Well, hopefully my wife will be with me at that time. And I would say that my 80th is just a time where I'm enjoying life. I'm active in my work because I enjoy what I do. And it really probably working on my next book, I would imagine, keep myself busy. And maybe taking some golf, because I'm in Florida, so I might as well enjoy the amenities that are available to me.
Oh, I meant to ask you if you're a golfer. That's good. Awesome. What's your favorite course out there, by the way?
So many to choose from, but it's really hard to say. In Palm Beach County alone, I mean, which I'm in, is a lot of great courses. So I can't really say which one in particular, but even the worst courses are certainly better than anything across the country with the weather we're experiencing. So just get out and play. What difference does it make?
Yeah, definitely spoiled out there. You're right. Very good. Well, let's go on to question two here. So this one is all about kind of, I'll say legacy, we'll call it. So imagine it's your last day on Earth and you can only preserve three items in your time capsule. What are those items and why?
Um, my last day on Earth, or is the last day that Earth is existing? I'm not sure.
Well, more so your last day, but let's say even so, it's an apocalypse, but these three items will live on beyond you in another lifetime, let's say.
Oh, well, I would put, guess all my books in there. I probably would have an AI avatar of myself that would
Nice.
have all my information. So people who reach out to me for 100 years from now, they can have my knowledge and my insight on tap, which is great. So I think that's an incredible legacy to leave behind.
Nice, nice. That concept of 100 years in the future reminds me of that show Foundation. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's all about like going ahead in time, 100 to 300 years. So very, very good. All right, last question for you. What is your definition of a real estate rock star?
Real estate rock star is someone who is a thought leader and that someone that other people look up to. So I think that defines my definition.
Nice. Very well said, Al. There you have it, folks. Another wonderful guest, a true masterclass in LinkedIn today. If you missed out, make sure you watch the replay. He'd absolutely dropped some knowledge for us today, some golden nuggets of wisdom. If you're not on LinkedIn, folks, do yourself a favor. Get on today. Fill out a profile and reach out to someone like an Al that can help you obviously optimize it. Al, on that point, where can our subscribers and listeners find and connect with you?
Well, certainly on LinkedIn, you can reach out and certainly follow me on LinkedIn. My book, The AI LinkedIn Advantage, is available at Barnes and Noble. Also, find retailers. You'll find also an Audible if you like audiobooks. And check out my new podcast. It's called the AI Authority Edge. Drops 4 times a week, and that's available on Apple and Spotify.
AI Authority podcast. Wow. Wonderful. Al, there you have it, folks. Another great guest, another great week. We will be back with you next week, same time, same place. Another great guest and some more masterclass knowledge. I'm Justin Nimergood, your host, and we're signing off. Thank you, everyone.